colonizing a group is you come in, you get rid of their teachings, which they came, and then once you remove their teachings, then you instill your teachings.
Yep.
And then from that point on, the history, his story, right, is just regurgitated through generations to now we are where we are now.
Yeah.
You know,
that's true. But even then, right, I mean, there's that's the thing about it, like they took a lot of stuff away from us, and I always joke about this, like the only thing they couldn't take away from us was the food.
That's it.
The maíz, the tortillas, you know, and that's what makes us, you know.
Think about that, right?
Yeah.
Think about that, right? So you had, I mean, everybody likes pizza, right?
Yeah.
But how was pizza before they came here, bro?
No.
Where was it? Where did the tomate come from?
Yeah. I mean, Italia, right? Like their whole dishes is because, right? And even then, I'm trying to still do the research. Maybe you know, pero even to the Mexican flag, well, what is considered a nationalist, right? You know that the one that everybody flags. You know, it's like who. The research that I did is like we had it first before they had it first, right? But then I've first seen other that no, it's actually, you know, they already had it in somehow. Anyhow, what I'm trying to say is like there's a lot of stuff. I mean, you know, with the chocolate, right? El chocolate, even now I don't know if you've seen, but the nopales now they're growing them in China.
Wow, well they got you, man.
The whole they got a whole field because they harvest the tunas.
Yeah.
You know, so again, we, like you're saying, there's a lot of contribution, not just with the food, pero también con la idioma.
Yeah.
With Nahuatl, you know, we pronounce so many different words that it's like, no, you're actually speaking it, but because it's not, no one's acknowledging it, you think it's just part of a Spanish word or anything. You know, so, but that's dope, man, to you know, for you to go through the whole process of getting your name and establishing yourself as, and like you said, it's your consciousness coming.
It's in all of us, right?
Yeah.
It's in our DNA, right? So if you know, science is science, right? It's all facts, or at least you get proven, right? The scientific method, right? And they've proven that, you know, our DNA is nothing but information. That's all it is, right? And what is it? It's just generational information going back, right? So, you know, recall, we have cell memory. So, you know, when you get into that level of being able to go within yourself consciously, and then things will just start popping. You'll be like, where did I get this from?
It's so true. I mean, it's kind of like we were talking about the other day, right? How, you know, and also too with that is that because they took a lot of our greatness away, meaning I'm not giving the person the greatness, but their talent or their what is the word I'm looking for? Their not destiny, but their inheritance. You know, that skill that they get, or whether it's, you know, being able to speak in public, or artist, or a performer. So when they removed that away from us and made everyone a slave, basically you're doing the same task that the next person is. You lose it right there and then, but not really, because it's a lineage thing, right? Like you
there's
have the
always
words,
a connection.
Right.
Somehow we always find, like, little by little, we just start opening up that little portal, and we're like, ooh, like, and then little by little you find out it's something that's been a part of just our culture, of just you, your family, and just we just don't know.
Yeah, it's the consciousness, right? Like you were saying, right? That's what the consciousness is speaking to. I mean, subconsciously we're always thinking about it,
something
right?
that calls us to it.
Yeah, you know, and then I mean, I know it's for me, like I was telling you, the you know, the first time I met you, it's like, you know, no one really taught me that this is what I have to be because of my cultural background, but because my environment, and then also you know, my parents, especially my father, he was into it, but not as much as like your typical Mexicano who's trying to make it. And, you know, he was he had his ways. But even then, I remember drawing these figures that are Azteca or Mexica. And so as an adult, I think about it, well, what made me think like that, or what made me, you know, inspired me to draw in that sense when I'm drawing my cultural background? Is it something that in the past I was I'm passing this information over and over that it's, like you're saying, it's consciously. It's the conscious that is telling you, no, this is who you are, because you are also on this land where your roots. This is where it starts. So you're gonna get something from it.
It's a part of your being. Like it's just
DNA setup, right? Yeah.
And like I didn't grow up with this. My father, he's from El Salvador. You know what I mean? So then my mother, she's from here. I'm actually because of my mother, I'm Yaqui.
I'm Yaqui too, man.
Yeah, I'm Yaumé. I'm a tribal member of the Texas Band of Yaquis.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So,
man, I'm telling you, I've been trying to get mine from Arizona, Tucson.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah.
Oh man.
No, I'm just saying.
I know. It's hard. Like I tried already.
Like, because how they do it, right? They go about it with how this corporation that they call the United States of America has established through the business of Indian affairs, right? Where they do use blood quantum, right? Yeah. And there's a reason why they use blood quantum. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And, it's only horses and the natives that use blood quantum. And there's a reason why. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to show some of it.
Wow, I dropped
right?
Miles right now.
So we have here in this on this land, right, there's actually two types of different laws, right? There's the laws that they use for statutes, in codes.
Yep. PC codes, yeah.
Right. And that's where the Constitution, right?
Born, yeah.
And then there's common law, right? Which is what I like to go by. It's the three things, right? You cause no injury, loss, or harm to anyone. As long as you don't do that, you're free to do what you want.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
You want to drive 100 miles an hour? Go for it. But if you cause loss, injury, or harm, then that's where you got to pay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
In general, even without having these established laws, right?
Correct.
It's like it's a human law
that
you have to follow.
That's common law.
Common law, yeah.
Right. So getting back to lost train of thought real quick.
We're talking about wait a minute. You're making me the common law. There's two laws. There's the
no. Before that we were talking about.
I was actually coming from someone that's a novice on this, like trying to figure out how you guys are getting. Are you guys like talking about getting to your like roots and tribes?
Oh no, we're talking about the Yaqui.
Yeah.
So
exactly. And that's why for me,
right.
I have no knowledge of that, and I know it has to do with my roots and stuff. Yeah. So, question for me, what is a Yaqui? Is that like a tribe?
Well, okay, so the Yaumé, right? The Yaumé. Yeah, so it's a tribe of natives that were here they originated. The homeland is Sonora, Mexico, right? And then the first encounters were the Jesuit priests. The Jesuits came. Basically it's on the west coast, right between the Golfo de Baja Mexico, right? It's right there. And so their first encounter were the Jesuits came, and then the Spaniards came. We fought the Spaniards. Then the French came. We fought the French. And then when it became Mexico, we fought the Mexicans.
Yeah.
And so, and then they're like, okay, let's make a treaty. Right?
Which is not sincerely, but which is the only, I think it's the
one of the then the Comanches.
The Comanches that didn't get defeated, right?
Correct.
We always
we were never conquered.
Yeah.
Never conquered.
See, for me, that's cool because that has to do with my roots. But I have that's how we're going back. It's crazy how quick after a few generations. A lot we just don't know.
Purpose, man.
And shout out to you guys. Appreciate y'all passing on that knowledge because like say I'm born and raised here in Frisco. I'm Mexican, Guatemalan, but I have no knowledge of my actual true roots, and neither do my grandparents. Like they come from Guanajuato and they just grew up there, but they didn't look into going back in their roots. And when we got here, we just got here, and it just I just learned to be from Frisco.
So I get it right on. So what I was getting at was quantum. Yeah. Quantum blood,
right?
Quantum
blood. Okay. That's right.
And then what I was talking about was the Bureau of Indian Affairs, right?
Yeah.
The BIA, right? It's a branch that was. So, getting back to the whole law of the lands, right? Yeah. So when the Europeans came over here, right? They encountered on the East Coast. They encountered the natives, right? And they helped them survive the winter. whole Thanksgiving BS, right?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's like
you can swear on this one, man. Don't worry about it. It's bullshit.
Yeah, right. But you have the Constitution of the United States, right?
Yeah.
That's the law of this country, of this corporation, right?
Land of law, right? I think that's what they call it. Yeah.
But above the Constitution is treaties, because it's sovereign nation. You have sovereign nation with a sovereign nation, you know, and wherever they fall under, right? So treaties are higher above the Constitution because it's dealing with sovereign nation and a sovereign nation, you know. And so, but somehow the BIA was able to be created, and so all these treaties, right? And the reason why they did the quantum, because treaties is the law of the land.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Treaties are the law, the absolute law of the land. Because the Constitution is for the corporation, it's for the government. But a treaty is between two countries together. So that's the law.
Yeah.
So these natives are sovereign nations, but they're encompassed within the Constitution. So they flipped the script. But the reason why they needed the blood quantum, because if there's no longer any more active tribal members, the treaty ceased to exist.
Man.
So you want to talk about more land grabbing? Let's go. So.
But it's it makes sense why they're doing it.
They have to.
They have to. Yeah, it's because you're not claiming it, right? It's even like.
How deep you want to go, brother?
I think I know where you're going with all this. No, let's go.
Like, I'm over here listening. I'm like, I'm learning stuff.
Okay, so let me tell you about this, and this is gonna change it a little bit to a different ethnicity. We're talking about Caucasians, not Caucasians itself, but in this, since we're talking about law. In this country, when someone says
corporation
or corporation, you're right, corporation, yeah. So that country, it's a corporation,
right?
That's why you have your DC codes, right? It's like if you ever get in trouble, you're like, well, why is it start with DC? Yeah, District of Columbia. That means they're actually their own.
Yeah.
Even like
that's its own city state.
And they were tied back to France, right?
Well, it's
and then
you got three.
Yeah.
You got 3 city states in this world. You got the Vatican.
Yeah.
You got London. You got Washington D.C.
London.
Yeah, London.
Okay. And it makes sense because that's where everything comes from, right?
More or less. Okay. So, what's in the Vatican? What's in the Vatican?
The Catholic, the Pope. Yeah.
Right. Religion.
Yeah, religion.
And what's in London? Oh, fuck. In London, it's the money.
They got a lot of gold.
That's where the money is. The money exchanges of London.
Oh yeah, right.
Right. You know, during history when the whole stock market when Leopold, Napoleon was gonna supposedly win, but then they rushed back saying he was gonna. Then they traded, and that's how people were able to swap over and get all the land. I'm telling you, bro. So London is money. London is money. And what's Washington D.C.?
It's the the law, right?
The military.
No,
religion.
Man. This might get too much sense, man.
Military. There's only 3 city-states in this world. So look, what planet are we on? And I put that in quotations.
Earth, right?
No, but according in the solar system, what planet are we on? What dimension are we in?
The third dimension?
The third 3D, yeah.
The third dimension. What planet is planet Earth from the sun? The third.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, shit. Damn.
That one. This realm, because this is a plane, not a planet. We're in a plane, different dimensional plane, the third dimension, right? Is run on 3s.
Oh, shit.
We got the Father, we got the Son, we got the Holy Ghost.
It's like the 3 is a significant number, yeah.
You got the Mother, you got the Father to make the child. To make fire, you need air, spark, and fuel. We're divided in 3s. We got our torso, our body, and our head.
Yeah.
3, brother.
3. I mean, even then, right? Even
up above, below, middle.
Well, they say mind, body, and soul, right?
That's 3s, man.
Yeah, everything. When you start thinking about it, everything fits
3s.
right? I mean, like when you use 3, there's a reason why they did it, right? I mean, even in this, to the religion that I've done, in this Catholic religion, that actually everything's tied back to Saturn, right?
Well, yeah. Well, Saturn is actually, Satan.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, even that itself, man. I mean,
it's a little, yeah. There's a lot of things you gotta.
Where do you want to go, really?
Yeah, well, not whatever you know,
we
whatever
already
you
went
want
to space. We're already out there.
Well, I mean, we
Let's
are in
bring it back
space.
home,
You know,
yeah.
I'm in my spacesuit right now, man. I mean, I call myself a spiritual being. I'm not a human being. A human. No, I'm a spiritual being in a physical body having a human experience.
Yeah.
This is my spacesuit, baby.
Yeah, no, it's true, man, and yeah, because even that's the terminology that we use. They say right, it's like a spells, and I believe it because even when they say mankind, why you need to say mankind for? Yeah, like there's only one type of species that could do what we do, and we're all the same. There's no difference, but unfortunately, borders created that issue.
So I mean, and then going back to the whole, our roots, right? So, here, we had, they said, oh, you guys were so unsophisticated. You guys didn't know what the will was. It's like, no, we knew what the will was. We knew that it was a sacred geometry, and it wasn't something that you just use as an everyday thing, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like similar to what the Hindus, right? They idolize the cow.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They're dying of sickness, but yet there's all kinds of cows. But to them, that's a god, so that's why they don't eat it, right?
Yeah.
So it's just it's perception, right?
Perception of what you perceive. Yeah, you perceive.
Right. So it's like, we were so unsophisticated, but yet we knew what the concept of zero was, right? We knew mathematical equations. We actually knew the distance from where the moon was to where we are now.
All right, so speak on when we talk about that. Speak on the not the calendario, right? It's actually the
It's a sunstone.
It's a sunstone, but that the size and everything calculates to what?
Yeah,
right?
It's 300. So you got the 360, right? But they say, okay, well, what I say, what it takes for a sun cycle, they say it's 365.25.
Yeah.
Right? 365 days and a quarter, right? And 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
That's one cycle. And so every 4 creates 1, right? Because, a quarter 4 times is 1.
Yeah.
So that's where the 360, that's why there was no need for a leap year.
Yeah, because it was all accounted for.
It was all accounted for, right? And then so you got the calendar, right? It was 360 degrees. Well, where's the 5? Well, the depth of it is 5.
I know. Yeah, I know. That's
It's like they thought of everything, man.
And so, what about the holes on the side? So, you're familiar with the sunstone, right?
Yeah, a little bit,
Okay. So it's the famous one that you see.
I'm over here learning a lot.
Yeah.
That's why I'm over here.
No, it's good.
I'm listening. No.
But they have, so there's those holes that they don't know what it's for.
Well, you give me the wormholes?
The wormholes, yeah. Is that what that is for, basically?
The wormholes, man.
Really? And they just try to make it into something else.
No, well, I mean, it's like, see, once again, we're spiritual beings, right? And so our ancestors understood that we have different dimensions just on top of us, right?
Like a different plane to get to.
That's what it
you're
is.
saying with the
We're
this is
different
how you get
planes.
to the different plane.
That's
Those
it.
are, like they had the underworld, the stuff, boom, boom.
Right.
So
And
see,
in order to get there, you need wormholes.
it's the access holes.
That's it.
Oh, all right. Okay.
There's wormholes to get there, I mean, that's why, as you're getting back to what you're saying, you cast spells with our voice, right? We create spells, we do seances, we're spiritual beings.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And we have access to those other realms, but the thing is that we have been indoctrinated through their system to make us slaves, as you put it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because when you come over and you understand, you're like, oh man, these people know what they're doing. We need to control them. So what do? You wipe out their history, you wipe out their knowledge, and then you instill the knowledge.
You suppress them, basically.
Yeah,
That's the whole point, man.
Yeah.
I mean, take for instance, look at an elephant.
Yeah.
Elephants, hella big and strong, right? So when you go and capture an elephant, you got to remove the parents. You have to remove that strength. And then now you got a baby. You tie it up, you put a big old lock, big old chain. It'll tug until it says, I can't do this no more. When it's young. So you broke it.
You break its spirit.
So that's why when you go and all they have is just a little rope to it, but in their mind, it's that chain. It's the same thing, brother.
It's all perspective.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
That's a good analogy. Yeah, no, you're right.
That's all it is. It's all perception, man.
Perception, man.
Until that elephant realizes and breaks it. I'm like, oh, I'm a bad motherfucker.
Yeah, right. And that's kind of happens to us when we find that skill or whatever it is. They're like, oh, wait a minute, I thought I could do it, right? I mean, even to that point, I mean, yeah, it's the entertainment, the media, the diet, right? A lot of the diet that we have, we're lacking a lot of the nutrients that, or the vitamins that we need. You know, therefore it does cloud your mind, and then people are like, well, I don't know why they think it's because it's just they're not eating what they're supposed to be eating. Instead, they're eating, you know, red meat is cool, but when you're eating a lot of it and you start putting a lot of other stuff with that diet, then you start having the issue. The meat itself is not bad because, you know, we used to consume it, but at moderations, and then what you eat it with, right? You have to pair it with vegetables that are going to counter whatever's going to happen within your biologic breakdown when you're eating that food.
Well, like I said, this is my spacesuit, right? So this is the perfect machine. We are the perfect machine, right? And our machine, is built for this realm, right? We are built for this realm, and it's like, what are we here for, right? Kind of like, it's like, what's our purpose?
What's our purpose, yeah.
But we get clouded, we have all this entertainment, we have all this.
We feed our mind with just junk.
Well, that's the purpose. That's the whole. If you were to look at, the Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, all these big tech, if you listen to what they say, they don't allow their children to use their products. Why is that? Because they know what the products do, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's all meant to cloud. It's all meant to just keep us zombies.
And that goes back to like what I was talking about my car. When we were in the car coming over here, we were talking about like, it depends on, everything comes from home, how you're raised and everything. And like I just came from seeing my whole family. My grandparents just came from Mexico, and like to us, like those are like the matriarchs. Like that's like, you know what I mean? Like the way they raised us and everything. Like they all came, so all the grandkids come, uncles, aunts. Like it's just like when you're brought up like that, or just around that stuff, it makes such a difference. In
right.
And everything.
And so that's part of it. I mean, you hit it, right? It's the family, right? It's the family unit, right?
Yep.
So you come, and I just made that analogy with the elephant. You remove the father, right?
Yeah. Yep.
If you remove the father from the home, now you have more capability to manipulate the woman and the child. Right here, here, look. This is the family unit right here. Here's the mother. Here are the children closer to the mother. Here's the father. Because we go and do what we do independently.
Oh, shit.
Right? Right? But then, what happens when it's time for protection? The father encompasses and protects the family, and now you got a strong unit.
Oh, bro, that's
that's just think about it, man.
I haven't come across that one.
So our ancestors understood what this plane was, understood what this realm is.
Yeah.
That it's all for us. That's why the Mexica, the calendar, the sunstone, it's all the division. It's it's the division, right? You got the 18 months, 20 days. Why 20? Why 20? How many digits we got?
20, yeah. I mean 10.
5.
No, 20.
Well,
Our feet and everything.
Those are digits.
Yeah. Which, yeah.
10 toes down.
10 toes down, baby. And that's why we counted it in that way too, right? By because we were able to even on when you use it on the sand or whatnot, what they were using, it's easier to do that than to do sticks and all this stuff. So
and then the 13. So you got the 20 days, but it's on a 13 count. It's on and everyone's like, oh, 13's an unlucky number. Nah, man.
I've always liked the number 13.
Well, it's the number of man.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna tell you why real quick.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, this is it. That's why
I'm over here. I'm listening. I'm quiet.
No, I've learned.
If you want to learn in life, you gotta just. So that's why I'm listening.
If I think I know where you're going with this one, this was a powerful one.
So it's basically how many joints in our body, major joints. How many major joints do we have?
Oh, I don't know. Don't ask me about stuff like that.
Well, look, so here's one. So you got your wrist, your elbow, your shoulder, right?
Yeah.
So that's 3, right? You got your ankle, you got your knee, and you got your hip. Right, so that's 3 and 3 is 6. And we're divided in half. 3 times 2. 6 times 2 is 12. Where's the 13? Your neck, my man.
Yeah.
That's 13. 13. And then you spread yourself out like a star. That's Michelangelo, brother. Our ancestors already knew that, man. They already knew that. It's nothing new, man.
That 13 also too, then they used it on their temples too, right? Or their
well, that's on the sunstone that was the year that it was created. The 13 Ekat, not Ekat. I'm sorry, Carizo Reed. That's when they started. But yeah.
But the actual layers from it, right? Of the
yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah, yes.
And we're on the last one, which is the galactic age.
Yeah.
Right? And then so now I was reading that information, like that's why we're trying to go to Mars and trying to get out of blah blah blah, because we're on this galactic age. Now you have to be careful, right, of how people are interpreting this information and but now that you explained it to me, there's another saying too that I've picked up along the way. I don't know if I'm gonna say it right, but Nokin Lowakin, it's your interaction with reality, right? And it's supposed to do the there's a symbol that goes with that saying. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but basically is the yin and yang, right?
Oh, in Lakesh. Yeah, so I am you, you are me.
Yeah.
Right. It's basically, it's kind of like that symbol that you got right there, right?
Right. Hunapku, right?
Yeah. And yeah.
No,
it's all good, man. And just
is there a reason? Because I will, again, that's why you're here.
Well, that one right there, that one was actually created in the '60s by,
That's what I saw. Is it though? Is that factual?
It's it's got some basis to it, but once again, everyone. It's all like you were saying, brother. We don't know, and so once
this is good.
Once stuff comes out, we latch onto it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everything has a purpose, man. Even when with the Chicano movement, all that had a purpose. It came to unify, the people. Even like what's going on now, right? So you have they want to remove what they call them illegal immigrants, but they're not immigrants, right? Because we're migrants. Why? Because we have always been here. The migrants, we have always crossed.
Yeah.
We have always gone across back and forth this land.
There was no borders before. It was just land. It's like I'm going that way. I'll be back in a couple weeks. Yeah.
Because there was trade. There was trade up and down.
Yeah, from all the way from Alaska to what?
The temperature everywhere.
Even Brazil and all that. No, right there.
No. There's because you have stuff that was from in Peru that they found in Mexico, and then vice versa. They got jade that they found down here that was from up north from our brother. It's because there was
trading everywhere. Yeah.
No, and that kind of makes sense why we all had the same, faith when it came to. We didn't. I know we didn't have gods, and then people, they prayed to God. No, they were just acknowledging what the rain does, what the mother. That's like. Even in religion now with their saints and all that, you guys are not praying to these saints. So, when it comes to Catholic, you're praying to, there's one God, but you're praying to these idols, right? That
these other deities.
Yeah, the deity, deities.
Right. Which is kind of like an oxymoron, because the rule number one is have no other gods but me. But they're praying to an idol. But anyway.
So I'm sure like that religion itself has some, all religions have a purpose, and they have, and in the end, it has to include, you said, us as spiritual humans. It has to include it doesn't. There's going to be individuals who are going to take over and do what they want. Like same thing with our culture. There was the ones that try to infiltrate and try to do things different.
That's just our human nature, man. That's just our physical nature. We just, that's just in us, man. We have we have everything. We have hate, we got love, we got jealousy, we got empathy, that's why there's people that are just cold motherfuckers, and they'll just take you out without thinking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then there's others that they won't, because they're like, oh no, I can't do that because that's not within me,
You're right about that, because in my, young days growing up, 90s and 80s, it was part of the culture, but I always didn't feel right.
No, but trust me, back then, you didn't want to catch me. You didn't want to.
I'm sure it was because it's if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
Well, I'm on. One thing is, age is just a number, right? Until you date yourself, right? And then you put a date on. Like me, on the real, bro. Inside, bro, I'm like 20, bro.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But this body is, is 48. You know what I mean?
48, yeah. So that the only reason why I ask is because of the era.
Yeah.
Right. The era says that it's not so much of old age, but there is a understanding of that era was different. Yeah. I mean, there was eras that had their things, but I think especially for our cultural backgrounds, it kind of gave us a little window, even though there was a lot of hatred and negativity happening. But when you look at it now,
it's different. It's way different. As a matter of fact, back in the 90s, I was down here in the Mission with my primo, and he got shot.
Yeah.
And we went into a liquor store.
Yeah.
Went to a liquor store right there on 16th and Mission. He just came out of the Pinta. You know what I mean? He's had all his his tats, and they just boom came on and blah blah blah. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
But that was then. It was a whole different mindset.
Yeah. I mean, I was telling him about it too. That my dad got stabbed in front of me and his head right there on Alabama and 24th on the liquor store, and it was kind of like, and they kind of looked at me. And I was 9. I think I was 9 or 8, something like that. And I was kind of like, and that's when I fully understood what I was going up against. Right. It gave me that false story that this is what I need to do because of everything that's happening, and he wasn't the only one. I had a lot of family members that went through a lot of stuff, but then there was always something, right, that said, this is not you. This is not, and so that's what made me break off from all that, because I'm like, no, I think it's like you're saying, your conscience was telling you, well, it's brown on brown. Like, yeah, you're growing up in this environment, but in the end, it was like, and then it wasn't just me, and then there was other homies that were like, nah, man, and so that's,
Well, first and foremost, all the homies that are still out there, rocking their thing, do your thing, I'm not gonna knock anybody down, but yeah, I grew up, grew up in the streets, and
like in San Jose, right?
Down in San Jose,
what part of? I mean, I don't mean to interrupt you, but what part of San Jose?
I was down over there by downtown San Jose.
Oh, okay.
So, I had my little my hood I ran with, right? But same thing. Did some time, did what I had to do, during that time to do what I had to do, and but then something within me, same thing, is like, okay, what else is there, And like I said, nothing. I'm not trying to knock anyone doing this, you know what I mean? But when I was in there, I always gravitated like towards the older heads, because I always like, oh, what's up, like.
They got wisdom, and they be cool. You learn a lot of stuff.
Right.
That's like for me. I've always been like little kid, just hanging around with all the older folks. And then I realized, I'm like, man, I learned stuff, and then I would put what I learned into my life, because I realized, I'm like, they already been through it. You feel me? I'm like, if I just listen, things will go a little bit better. And for me, like, my grandpa always passed wisdom, and I'm like, hey, you know what? Let me think about it and put it in my everyday life, and it just changed everything. If you just listen and learn, and implement it, changes everything.
And that's what it was, right? I was able to ask questions, and then once they told me, what I had to look forward to, I was like, yeah, this isn't for me. I think I want something a little bit more, like, hey, right on, homie, but and so, from there, I just kind of like started looking like, okay, what, put myself, like, all right, started, going to college, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, and then that's when I was like, oh, what is this? Chicanismo. What is this? I started getting involved with Mecha. I was like, well, what is this? They started talking about, the walkouts in 1968, down in East Los, right? And then that's when, 1969, that's when you had the whole Chicano movement happen with the students, right? And so
is that what the brown berets or
brown berets and the black beret, that's where all that. But you had to look at history, right? You had to look at what was going on that time. A lot of the, you had the Vietnam War, so you had a lot of homeboys coming back from Vietnam, right? And so they were more militarized.
Militarized.
They were militarized, and so kind of like with the Black Panthers, right? It's like, oh no, we're gonna stick
organized. Organized.
We're gonna do for our own people, and that's what the brown berets, and then you had the black berets, all those were Chicanos, and that was kind of like the security, right?
Yeah.
And then you had the students, and then with then we had a national conference, but all that was organization meant to bring the brown people, all the gente together, and they used the word Chicano just as a word to mobilize, to solidify, as one, right? And the history is because we're Mexicano in America, so we're Mexican American, so we get rid of the ME and now we're Chicano.
So that's where that comes from, because there's so many different definitions for that. They're like chiquito, which is you got the chicanito, the chicano. Right. I've heard a bunch of different ones, so that's why it's interesting to see. I mean, do we is that the actual one? How do we know that?
Everyone has a rendition, right?
Yeah.
But but what they do is because of the Mexica. The Mexica, right?
Yeah,
and so the whole the Chicano was basically reclaiming our roots, saying, hey, this is our land, right? This belongs to us. And so that's what I was always looking for, even when I was gangbanging, it was the brotherhood, right? It's like, that's kind of like, when you're in your clique, in your hood, you guys watch out for each other, you guys got each other's backs, and
it's a family.
Well, yeah, it's a family.
Yeah, that's a family. I grew up in the streets too. I'm like that. I don't have no blood brothers, but they're my brothers. Like those are my
solid.
brothers.
Solid. Like it's like the saying, right? It's like you don't. What is it? What's that saying? You don't pick your family. The family picks you, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Where it's,
these people in my blood have looked out for me more than my own blood sometimes. So it's just like, you know what I mean? Like that they just looked out for me, and then totally.
Yeah.
And so that's what I was striving for, looking for, right? So growing up, and so I got involved with Mecha, and I was like, oh, what is this? I was like, okay, so this is the Chicano movement, and I got the history on that. I was like, okay, and then doing that, then that's when I got involved with the Aztec dancing, the Mexica dancing.
So I saw a video. Is that what that video on your Instagram? You're doing some moves. Is that because you're into the Aztec dance? Do you do the Aztec dance itself, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was involved with, I
was just saying, like, I saw you doing some moves. I was like, okay, that's why, man. You're a dancer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I had to do my research. I'm like, we see, man. I want to make sure I have some things to talk about. And I saw that video and it stuck out because you were doing it comfortably.
Yeah.
Right, and then being not that age matters, but when people look at it, they always want to, your first thought is this is because of how you've been programmed in this world, right? With all these different information, you look at people a certain way until you can break that. But no, I didn't mean to interrupt your concentration of thought there. So
we're good. So that's just basically what I was looking for, right? And then that's where I got with the group, and then we brought some Maestro Oslocoa from Mexico City. And so he was, he started just breaking it down, man. I was just like, whoa,
that's dope, man.
This guy's heavy.
Yeah,
this is like, and then that's when, we formed a Calpuli, which is basically, a group, basically, and the word Calpuli comes from Cali, which is house, so the family unit, house. And so it's just everyone in the group, and down in San Juan, just been part of them, and now they, through transitional, it's Calpuli Tonaleque, and there's the March the 14th, 15th, 16th. There's the Mexica New Year celebration in Push Park. Emmer Push Park, yeah. So we've been doing it for about 26 years, man. So
I know. I've actually never made it out to one of them. I always see it, and even before IG and social media, I've always known about it, but. Even like I hear, they do one out here in Alcatraz, and I never went to it.
That one's every November when they go, take back Alcatraz.
I think they go. Oh yeah, but then they also do a Mexica New Year
ceremony
on. It's like at 6 a.m. in the morning at Alcatraz.
Yeah, super. Yeah, I heard about that one.
Sunrise ceremonies.
Yeah, sunrise ceremonies today. And you know, I want to make it to one of them, but at the same time, you know, I don't stress myself over it, because it's like, as long as I have this motivation to keep learning,
yeah,
you know, I will get there. And so that's what I've been doing. I've been trying to, because like I was telling you, I've a lot of my information that I've gathered, it's all self-taught. So, you know, I know there's a lot of room for improvement there, of just what should we be believing in, or even, you know, the perception that we have. But as long as I'm idling, you know, that's what I care about.
Well, that's the greatest gift the Creator gave us, is our mind.
Yeah, it's true.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, as long as you keep on learning, keep on thinking, you never die.
Yeah.
Right. The day I stop learning is the day I die, or not even die. The day I transition and, you know, move on from this place. You know, because, you know, death is just physical.
Yeah.
You know,
and there's a lot of proof for that, you know, that it's like we keep, I believe in reincarnation, you know, we do keep coming back, and because we have to improve. I mean, it's never perfect, it's never going to be perfect, but there's always room for growth. And yeah, and if you don't do what you were supposed to in this lifetime, then, you know, you come back, or who knows, but I know there is something beyond, and it's just, okay, it's over. And
yeah, well, this is you know, this is a journey. This isn't the destination. That's why, you know, I don't know if you ever had that feeling like, oh man, I want to do something, right? And so you got a goal you want to get to, right? Or you know, it's like, once you get to your destination, right? We get like, here, okay, I got here, right? But on the way there, I had a journey,
yeah,
right? And so you have to enjoy the journey. You know what I mean? And, you know, back in the day, growing up, you know, we used to go down to Lois all the time, right? And I was always out the window, just looking, enjoying the scenery, right? Nowadays they don't do that. They're on their screen, man.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get mad at my children. I was like, yo, man, turn that stuff off and look outside.
You hit the tree. You hear the birds.
And so that, you know, because we're such in a rush to get somewhere that we forget to enjoy the journey, man.
That's because just the society is teaching us that, right?
Well, that's how they're constructing us. That's how they're indoctrinating us. That's how they're making us be, because they need drones. You know, Rockefeller said it best, man. I need a nation of thinkers. No, a nation of workers, not a nation of not thinkers.
No. Yeah, and it's well,
and he's the one that created the education
system.
Right?
Yeah, it was all because of him. Yeah, and it may all make sense, right? I mean, but that's why it's breaking down now, because people are just. I think also too, you know, there's a lot of other ethnicities learning about their own cultures. I mean, like I had this conversation with my a manager that I have, you know, at my job, and I told him, you know, the problem with and I was like, I don't mean this in any kind of way, but, you know, European or Caucasians, the ones that came over, is like, you guys were taught not to learn about your history.
Right.
So that's why, you know, there's a lot of issues with y'all too, because, you know, you're almost not in the same boat as us, because there's a big difference when you come over a land that's undiscovered, when obviously it's there, and it's not like how they said teepees and this. No, there was a full out structure, civilization that it was like we were living better than
running water.
Right, yeah, better than the rest of the world, right? Like, you know.
Of course, they got to be like, nah, they didn't have that.
I mean, you know, So it's
Well, I mean, so like you stated, right? So what I say is, we're all native. When I say all, I mean everyone's native. We come from nowhere else.
Yeah.
We come from nowhere else, right? Mm-hmm. You know, it's just unfortunate that our white brothers have been indoctrinated for so long that they forgot their past, they forgot their history. They're tied to the land, you know, and so they've been living in this system the longest. And so, so what I say, I don't see color, man. It's not about color.
Yeah.
Because there was 4 colors, you know, in the tradition of the colors. You got the black, you got the yellow, you got the red, and you got the white corn. Those are the 4 colors of the corn that make up everything. All right, corn, as you put it, the maíz. Every kernel is is DNA.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
that's
a
what
little
you
seed.
Yes, that's
well, that's what they killed it, right?
Correct.
They tried
They had
like
to.
they knew. They're like, with this. I mean, the whole world's on it.
Right.
You can survive on this.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, we can get fuel from it. You know, there's, you know, you can get clothing. You know, because you get the husk.
Yeah.
You know, it's universal, right? So even the story of Quetzalcoatl going down to the underworld and bringing back the maize, right? With the bones to create the humans as well, right?
Yeah.
But that itself, they have lost their way. They need to find their own way, and the thing is, I mean, I don't mean to knock them. That's why you see a lot of these, these white individuals. They tend to gravitate something, and especially different ethnicities, music, and that's why you'll see them there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's true.
You're like, hey, what's up with this?
I saw them yesterday. They're like, it was yesterday. They're like, there was some white lady, and it was like a pack of white people. And they stand out, right? Because they're like, they were not dressed at all, like, and they're like, and they're talking about the murals, right? And I'm just kind of like, but you're right? It's that gravitation because they don't have.
Because they don't have it.
Yeah,
right?
they do,
They're
but
lost.
they just haven't got it.
Correct, and that's where it's like. Getting to where I was trying to say, with the Mexicas, right? So when I was doing the danza, right, it's for everybody, right? It's for what I call a detribalized people. Everybody, even white people jumped in there. Even, we had our black brothers and sisters that jumped in because they're accepting of everyone, right?
Yeah.
And same thing, I didn't know that I had the Yaume connection, right? So I was doing that, doing all that, and then, it just, as it all happened, then I ended up, getting clicked up with Streetlow magazine.
Yeah, so you're a photographer too, right?
Yeah, I do. I've been doing photography since I was in high school, bro.
Oh,
so
that's something that you just carry.
Well, I mean, I like photography. I like capturing, images, and then I just carried it over. I was doing photography in college, just going in the black room, doing all the, doing. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then of course, hey, man, I love women. You know what I mean?
Who doesn't, right?
I'm just saying, right? And so the woman is a beautiful figure, right? And so, and so, getting with Streetlow, being able to, I've always been into low riding. That's always been a passion. I was like, oh man, I want to get low riding.
Especially when you're from like San Jose, still has that. Well, we have it here too. Yeah. But I think like San Jose's been carrying it for a while.
San Jose is where Lowrider magazine started with Sunny Madrid.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah, it started with Sunny Madrid back then in 70, 76, and then they printed out 77, and then so San Jose was actually the lowrider capital of the world at one time because that's where it was all popping, and then. Of course, it was LA. It was up here in San Pancho too. You know what I mean? It was just it was everywhere. But San Jose was where it started pushing out. And then as history happened, and then Sonny got kind of big and did what he had to do, and then he sold it. He moved down to LA. Then he sold it to the printer because he just was. He got overwhelmed and went over, under, but he just
he's just couldn't sustain it. Yeah.
He couldn't sustain, and so he sold it, and then that's where it popped off in LA, and that's when Lowrider magazine was down there in LA, right? And then it got sold out, bought out by corporate America in '96, and there was a reason why it got bought out, but but it got bought out. He sold it, and then it became corporate America, and so and then actually Streetlow started in '98 with Gilbert Chavez.
Okay.
He was a car club member in the Dukes, and he just had a vision of, oh man, I want to do my own. And so he basically the theme was to go back to how Lowrider magazine started in the '70s. The '80s. It was basically like a yearbook. And so that was our style. And then so I hopped on with Streetlow in 2000.
Yeah, you've been with them for a while then.
Yeah, and then so I was just doing it, man. Just going out there doing car shows, going up and down Cali.
So how's that? Has it changed since it was established, Streetlow, like has it have the same vibe, or has it like improved, or like?
Well, one thing is, it's always still owned by Gilbert Chavez, and we're still grassroots. We're not corporate. We're attainable. You can come and chop it up with us. So as far as it's the same, but it's with technology you advance.
Yeah, a little bit better, a little easier to do things too.
So we have I've been with them since 2000. I've been doing a lot of things in photography, just taking pictures, and nowadays everyone's a photographer. So
yeah, but
with their phone, right? They're
but there's the angle, right? Yeah. Like everyone could be like, it's like any skill, like it's like art, right? Like drawing, like there's technical drawing.
Yeah,
you learn that shit at college. Anyone can learn that.
Yeah.
But the actual expression of what you're drawing, and that's why, like, it's unfortunate that we can't reference back to our culture, these famous artists. I'm sure there's some out there, but I don't know about them. But it's like sometimes you look at something like, well, that doesn't look good, or like that I could do something better. It's like, no, it's not about that. It's you're not seeing the expression from that person, right?
Yeah.
So therefore you cannot understand that message.
Right, there's that saying, right? A picture is worth 1,000 words, right?
Yeah.
Unless it's told by the one who took it.
Yeah, it's true. That's that's that saying.
It is worth 1,000 words, unless it was, I forgot that part. So what I say is, everyone's a photographer. No, everyone's a person with a camera.
Yeah.
Not everyone's an artist. Because photography, like the actual sit there and like, oh wow, let me capture, like I took a picture.
Timing and everything.
But no, it is.
Yeah.
It's.
I love photography. That's why that's why I'm like, in high school I had the whole photography class. We had a black room, everything.
Yeah.
I loved that. And they would say you could get out of school if you go and take pictures. You're telling me I could go out in the city, and I would go all over the city. The Mission. I went to Abraham Lincoln, so I went to Lincoln, but I grew up in Hunters Point. Yeah. But I would go to the Mission. I would go to the Marina. Yeah. You feel me? I would go to the bridges and stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, it was awesome. I love photography, and like for me, it was like you guys were talking about living in a moment, and like sometimes we forget about a moment, and the picture is how we bring that moment back. Because it's in there. We just need a reference to get it out. Yeah.
But so that's I got into doing that, and actually when I moved down to Hartnell in Salinas, I was there in '98, and then I said, oh, you know what? So then I got into graphic designing.
Okay.
Yeah, first I started off as a computer engineer.
Oh,
I was like, okay. I started doing coding, and I just got bored. I was like, man,
too many numbers.
Right. And then I hopped on doing when I was at the Eze here. I'm jumping back and forth. Back in '96, I was in the Eze, and then a buddy of mine was like, hey, why don't you join the newspaper? I was like, newspaper for what? He's like, you're a photographer, right? I'm like, yeah. That's it's a hobby. Why don't you join the newspaper? I was like, no, fucking take notes. So anyways, I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll do it. So I hopped on with the newspaper, and and then that's when I got introduced to Adobe Photoshop. Because I was like, oh, I want to do this, and then so I just boom started doing that. But I was also throwing events at the Eze. I would bring in groups. Because they had a stage, and then when I found out that I can get them paid too, I was like, oh man, let's do this, right? And so I was bringing groups, like they would play during certain hour right there, they'd be playing. So that's when with the involvement with Mecha, and then that's when I clicked up with the Danza Azteca, so I started bringing them. And then I was like, oh man, we can. So then we were paying Jose Loco at the Maestro to come. So I was using school funds, you know what I mean? So to all those that are listening, man, this is so it's like utilize the system.
Yep.
Utilize the system, right? There are opportunities for us. You just got to utilize them, for our benefit, right?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it's like that. It's just like you have to do the research. It's there. It's just if you don't know about it, it's like I was trying to open up. Well, I did open up, my own little business. I'm trying to get up there, and I had this conversation with. I had to call in the tax franchise in California. No. It was some organization that has to do with businesses and all that, small businesses. So anyhow, I'm talking to him and I'm just telling him, hey, this is the issues that I'm having, and then he just gave me this link where basically it has all the loans for small business in California, and they're actually like, no, this is you most likely you're gonna get this.
Right.
But it's that thing. It's like they don't want you to know, because the minute you know that all it takes is, some research time.
Right.
It's like they say, the pot of gold is there already.
Yep.
Like the money is there. Like the gold is there. It's just you need to know how to not even access it. You know how to retrieve it.
Yeah, you gotta extract it.
Extract it, right? Like everything else is an extraction, right? Like we extract everything. But yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, I got a free trip out of it too. I mean, I organized the NACS conference, the National Association of Chicano Studies, right?
Okay.
They were having a conference out in Mexico City back in back in 98, right? Yeah, 98. And I was like, yo, let's go to Mexico City. And so they're like, well, and then I organized it. I went, petitioned, I put up, went in front of the school board, said, oh, I want to go to, we need to, this is something for ethnics and my ass, right? Like I said, man, sometimes,
Well, you have to sell it, right?
And so, no, but I got a group of people, and then I had like one spot open, so I hit up behind, hey, man, you want to go to Mexico City, Liz Rowe? She's like, huh, what? Well, yeah. And so I went down to Mexico City, and, it was a pretty good experience, man. I met some pretty good people out there, So, use it, man, use the system. So for all those college students out there, there's money out there, man. You just gotta, because basically we're paying, right? Everyone, we put our money into the system. So the education, it's there, the money's there. You just gotta use it.
Yeah, yeah. And that's kind of what I was alluding to earlier on, where actually I picked this up by, I did some research on, I don't know how I got into it, but the Moors.
Yeah.
And just I think it was because of Spain, the 500-year battle with them, and then that just kind of, and then I started just digging more, and so and then there's this, I can't remember his name, but he was on YouTube. I came across him anyhow. He was explaining how when you call someone in this country or corporation, when they use the term white. A white person doesn't mean it's a European or it means you're a privileged person, right? And then black, which is it comes from Germany, or black, and that's the original word for black, and they used to call their white slaves or black, which translates to black. So when they say you're a minority, you're not a minority by skin color. You're a minority because you know your law in this country.
Correct.
So when you go to court and you try to speak normally, like how we do in the streets, they're like, no, you're not. You're not speaking the terminology that for us to listen. They'll listen, but no, for you to he knows what he's talking, or he or she.
They speak legalese.
Legalese. Okay.
That's why as you're saying, right? So words are powerful, right? And that's why I keep saying this is a corporation, right? It's a corporation, right?
Yeah.
And when you go to court, right, you have you're in a court. What do you do in a court? What do you do in a court? A basketball court. What do you do? Play a game. It's a game.
Yeah.
Remember, different planes. So when you're in that court, you got the defendant and the prosecutor, and that's it.
Well, the referee is the judge, right?
But he's on a different plane.
Oh, the plane, right? Okay, yeah.
He's on a different plane.
Yeah.
And then even the jury is on a different plane. They're watching the game.
I didn't get that one. Okay.
They're watching the game, and the only one on the same court, on the same plane of view, is the clerk.
Oh shit! Damn.
That's it. Just the one.
Oh shit!
The clerk has all the power, and it's just.
I was missing that information. I didn't get that information, but that makes a lot of sense. He was breaking it down in that sense. It's like this is what you were seeing, but yeah.
And then once you cross that bar, you're no longer in the United States of America. You are now in the judge's world. He's the owner of that world. That's why they pay. That's why when you go, you got to pay all those fees. You got to pay because the judge rents out the courtroom.
So I've heard too that there's actually a pot of money for that. But if you don't know how to
access
request it,
then
you won't get it. To pay for other fines you get because technically we're a dead pledge.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. That's why our name's all in caps, right?
Yeah.
That's why tombstones all in caps, right? That's why when you go to court, they say all rise.
All right.
Because now it's the dead coming back to life to make an appearance.
Yeah.
Because you can't have a living person.
Well, that's the way. That's how they could take the land.
Well, that's how they took it, right? That's what I was. That's what I was saying. Corporation, right? Everything in this realm is based on water, right?
Yeah.
Even in the good book, as I say, it was nothing but just water. And then. So I mean, just real quick, like.
No, it's good, man. Yeah.
Like, what's the first thing that was created, according to that good book?
The first thing, light, right?
Really?
Well.
Let there be light. Sound. Frequency was the first. Sound was the first thing created.
Yeah.
That's why it's very important, as you say, spells. When we create stuff in this realm, we speak it. You need to speak it into existence. That's why you have to be careful how you talk to yourself internally. That's why you have all these, oh, what's up, fool? I ain't no fool. What the fuck you talking about, man? You got me fucked up.
Can't go on that way.
That's how we think. We think, it's all good.
Yeah.
But our spirit doesn't know the difference. Our spirit doesn't differentiate between jokes and real and what's fact. It takes it.
That's why some get upset.
Yeah.
Like, no te enojes, way. I'm just playing with you. No, well, it hit a certain way.
Right.
You should,
right.
stop.
And then you got all these girls. Oh, I'm a bad bitch. Oh, okay.
Oh well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's how you speak.
Yeah.
It's how you speak to yourself, right? I mean, that's what I tell my children. Hey man, be careful how you guys speak to each other. I get mad. Don't call your guys stupid. Don't call your guys names. And so because frequency or sound carries everything. That's why I don't believe anything. Because believe, BELIE, there's a lie in the middle. In order to believe, you stop thinking. That's how you get followers. I believe.
It's the terminology that they use. It's spelling. It's casting the spells. Yeah.
Like I don't use the words. Oh, I'm blessed. No, I'm not. Be less. Be less.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm manifested. Man, I feast. I'm gonna feast on this shit. Words, brother, have all kinds of power, man. It's everything. It's our reality. It's our reality because it's frequencies, right? I don't know if you ever seen that experiment where the different frequencies causes different patterns. That's sound.
Yeah.
Right, and so now I just saw something to where they were able to create light from sound by throwing sound into a bubble, and then cause light and explosion.
Wait, say that again?
So they had it encapsulated, right?
Yeah.
Encapsulated in like basically a sphere, and then they sent sound through it, and that frequency caused the molecules of that water, that bubble, to collapse on itself and create light.
Oh man, so this kind of like it's not answering the question, but there's always that it sticks with you a lot because as a kid, like don't ask that question. Like, where did God come from?
Right.
Like,
well, God is us. No, God is us.
Well, okay, God, but I was like, well, what's before that?
Yeah, exactly, right?
Like,
who created God?
Where does it stop?
It doesn't, right?
So then that makes sense why we have different planes, which are different universes and different, however you want to label it, but it's kind of like the mindfuck type of thing,
correct,
right? Like,
correct.
And thinking about this as a young kid is like, I think that's why I kind of didn't gravitate to it too much because you couldn't ask me that. The answer was, don't ask that question.
Right. Yeah, because this. So once again, this whole realm is all water.
Water.
Okay. Water above, water below. Our body is 70-some% water.
Yeah. Okay.
right? Or it's water, because that's how you travel, you know? Like electricity can travel through water because of the minerals, right? So, so we have 4 elements. That's why I say this is the most perfect machine here. We have all 4 elements. Wind, right? We got the earth. Well, this is all carbon.
Carbon,
right?
Based, yeah.
Earth, wind, fire. That's electrical current, and water. So we're the 4 elements.
Which we have.
This is all of us, right? So with that being said, right? So you got the moon and the sun, right? I mean, we can go deep, but
right? I mean, this is great, man.
So you know, electrical magnetism, right, is caused by when you have a stator and a rotor, and then you have and then it swings around and it creates the force, right? And that's where electricity comes from, right? So you got the moon is negative, sun is positive. So you got their dance, and that creates the electrical force.
Yeah.
Right. That's just like our heart. Our heart is one piece of muscle, but wrapped up. It's all wrapped up into, and it creates a vortex field.
And so that's how it's able to do like the pumping and all
Correct.
that, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
But it's just one. It's actually it's one piece of muscle. But how it's wrapped up, and that's the creates that energy, that force to create. You know. So, like the women is feminine, and they're tied to the moon. That's why the moon cycle. We're all jacked up, bro. Right?
Well, yeah. I mean, even our age, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just the whole celebrating your birthday. It's not 12 months. It's 9. It's supposed to be like 9 months. Right?
No, 13.
But the creation of.
Well. Okay. It takes 9 months for a body. 280 days. Right.
Oh, wait a minute. I think
so. That's 280 days, right?
Yeah.
But there's 13 lunar cycles to create a year. That's why the Chinese they're still on the lunar cycle. That's why it changes. That's why it changes every year, because that's a lunar cycle. Whereas us over here, the Mexicas, we had the sun cycle, but they had the moon cycle as well.
Yeah.
They knew both systems go hand in hand, right? And the women, because it's duality, right? Left and right, right?
Yeah.
The women is the moon. Us men are the sun, right? The moon is cold, but it's water. Fertility. The rabbit. That's why I say I see a rabbit in the moon. I don't see a man in the moon. I see a rabbit. Right? Why? Because they correlate the rabbits with fertility. Because they multiply quick. And so the women are the life givers. They have a portal. The womb. That's the portal. Right? And so when us men we inseminate, the egg. What is it? Where does that that cell multiplies, right? But it's growing in water, in the placenta. That's all water. But see, we're not conscious yet. The body hears. You know what I mean? That's just our spacesuit getting ready. There's many different ways to think about it, man.
That actually makes sense. Why this corporation would they call it, the birth. Because it's a ship, right?
It's a ship.
BRTH is a ship. The doctor is the doc, right? And then there's I forgot the other terminology they use for it, but it's even the certificate, right?
Right.
That, like you're a product.
Correct. Yeah, that's through a manifest, right? So I mean, you're going around the same thing that I was, alluding to, right? So everything is water. That's why you have the birth canal. Right, the birth canal, and then the placenta. Well, her water broke. You know what I mean? It's time to give birth, right? BE. They call it birth, BIR, but it's BERTH because the woman is a vessel, right? And so when we come out of, now here's a new product, right? And so you have the docked door, the one that annotates, records. Oh, okay, it's a male, single, this height, how much? It's writing down on the manifest, and then it sends it off, sends off that certificate of live birth to the county. Hey, I just got a new employee. Okay, now I'm gonna give it a birth certificate. That's a bond. You know what I mean? And then us as parents, our parents, they didn't know what they were doing, because it's a system, right? And all that's actually traded on the stock market. You know, that's how they're able to lend out money. That's how they're able to get loans from other countries.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the
collateral. Correct. We are the livestock.
Yep.
Right.
Well, that's why, like, except JC and Beyonce, that's purposely done. It's a good stock, right? They call that a good stock because they both make. Well,
correct.
I don't know. I'm sure there's people who say no, but yeah, you're right. Like, we're essentially that stock.
Right.
Right.
We have the potential of what we can create, because the only thing that has any value in this realm is our energy.
Yeah.
It's our energy, right? And these people that are up there that have money, right? They don't get off on money. It's
expandable to them.
It's the ability to have others do your will, right? Once again, Rockefeller said it best. This motherfucker, he said, I'd rather have 100 people give me 1% than me give a full 100%.
Well, yeah, when you talk about quantum with big amounts, yeah.
Well, that's where the term "sweat of my brow," because they don't sweat. They have other people sweat from their brow, and they just capitalize on it. That's why Emiliano Zapata said, "He who works the earth gets to eat."
Yeah, well, yeah. Huevos, I mean.
But they had to get rid of him.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I think, okay, this might be. well, like Pancho Villa, I think he was poet, right? I think he was. I don't know if he was. I'm a little confused. I don't know, because when you start looking.
Doroteo Arango. That's his real name.
That's right. He changed it, right? Because
right. Yeah, he took up the pancho from the bandidos that he was chilling with and killed. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, so that now that we kind of went into that, I want to now, like, fact check myself here with if you know this information. Joaquin Murrieta.
Oh, Joaquin Murrieta? You mean the story of Zorro?
Yeah, okay. Alright. Because, Zorro, right? And then just for the 49ers. And
right, so that itself, right? So there's the movie Zorro, right? And they kind of show it, right? Yeah. So I don't want to go... Dude, so basically... Yeah. So the Joaquin, so during, if you know about the history, 1846 to 1848 was the American-Mexican War, right? It was purposely instigated to take over the land, right? So Manifest Destiny, all that BS that came from the journalists, right? That was just an idea. He wrote it down and everybody jumped on the bandwagon, right? So, even today, with what's going on today, people are like, but Mexico lost. It's like, no, you don't understand though. Did you do your research? Why did they lose, right? If that was the case, why did the United States send ships prior to, because remember, they didn't have the Panama Canal. Yeah. Back then you had to go all the way down to the tip of South America, come back up, right? That took months. That didn't take days. Yeah. Remember, 18 days, they had barely, they were using sailboats.
Oh yeah, it's at that time.
Because the armored steam didn't come out to the Civil War. The first steel boat didn't come out to the Civil War. So they used sailboats. So they knew. So they purposely sent out ships to go to Monterrey. And they sent out Fremont up from the north, and then they sent out the troops down to the south, And Mexico's big, right? Yeah. And Santa Ana, he was just a dumb fuck. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. Well, because he went to go fight in El Paso. He went to go fight in San Antonio. Remember the Alamo, right?
Yeah.
Knocked them out, Davy Crockett. Mm-hmm. Then marched all the way down to Mexico City. And then, oh shit, they're fighting in California. Let's go all the way up to... So, by the time they get there, they're fucking tired, right? And then there was a ravine where the United States had all their men, and it didn't matter how many troops you had. If you're funneling them through one point, you're just mowing them down.
Oh, it's like that story, right? The 300, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's the same thing. Yeah. So
military tactics, right? But here in California, there was resistance. There was resistance against the United States of America. There was the people, and one of them, and then afterwards, right, 1848, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, which stated that okay, everybody that was here are now citizens, or now, you know, nationals of the United States, and you get to retain your land. Okay, cool, great. But then here you got some landowners, right? There's a, oh, well, I want this piece of land. How do I acquire it? Well, I'm taking you to court. I claim this land. Now you got to go into their court system. And we didn't have papers. Our people didn't have no...
Yeah, well, there was no knowledge of... I mean, that not knowledge, it's just that's not how we operated.
Correct. Yeah, no, it was like, well, I've been here since, you know, and then, oh, well, everything's in Spanish, right? It's so to translate it, and, oh, well, what if that document gets lost or gets burnt? You know? So that's what happens. That's how a lot of the people lost their land, because they took them to court and they didn't know how to represent themselves in the court system, and so they lost. The land got stolen, right? And so Joaquin Murrieta and the Sonoras, and what do you know? 1848, right? What happened in 1849? That's why, you know, 49ers, right? Bunch of thieves too, you know. And so gold mining, and so it was up here in the Sonora Mountains, right? Here up in California, and then so he had his stake, he had his land plot, and he was boom, boom, boom. He was chingandolo, and he was doing good. And he would go down, and then the white, you know, the 49ers, they'd look at him like, man, this guy's
he's doing good.
He's doing good. What the fuck? And so they follow him. You know what I mean? And then they saw where he was at, and he was gone. And then they raped his lady, and then, you know, killed his
the son, right? Was the son? Yeah.
And then so he's like, oh, what the so then he moved. He said, fuck it, you know what, I'll abandon it, you know, and then started another mine.
Oh, I didn't know about that one.
And then he was doing good, but he said, you know what, I'm gonna send my brother, because they know me, I'm gonna send my brother to go, you know, turn in the gold.
Okay.
Before now I was looking at him, I was like, oh shit. And then they accused his brother of stealing a horse back then, and those laws was, if you take a horse, you die, because a horse was someone's livelihood, you know, going through the West, right? That was the law. So they hung his brother up, and so that's when he got pissed, and he clicked up with the 7 Joaquins. There's seven Joaquins. The three-finger Jack.
Three-finger Jack. He was a ruthless guy.
So there were 7 Joaquins, you know, and so that's where.
That's why they couldn't. So they say that possibly they didn't get him.
No.
Yeah, he just pretty much.
Right.
I mean, he terrorized. That was his whole point, right? After and all that, I didn't know about his brother though. Like that's the information that I didn't that I haven't come across. I've come across all the other stuff, but then that also leads into other famous kind of figures, right? That's from just that 1848 and on
1850s, and so he was basically the Robin Hood, because what he was doing, he was stealing from the landowners and giving to the poor. That's why, you know, that's why the gente never gave him up. You know. And so that right there, it's I mean, even to this day, that's why it's divide et impere, divide and conquer, right? So once again, here's the family unit, right? How strong is that? Try to break my fingers. No. But how about now? You can break my fingers easily. So the Romans were great at that tactic, right? So they used that when they went to go conquer Spain, Gaul at that time, right? It was strong military force. They went in, they put in some spies to cause, you know, to break up. Oh, let's go this way, let's go that way. So they broke up that army into smaller units and then wiped them out.
It's kind of what's happening. Right?
No, that's.
I mean, it's always been the thing, right?
We're still living in Roman law. The Roman Empire never died. It became the Catholic Church. And if you look at history, the Pope is saying what? The Pope is saying, I'm the vicar from between God and God, until Jesus comes back. I'm the representative. It's like, okay, whatever, man. Okay, that's why only the Pope can forgive sins, and that's why you go to a priest, because the priest has been ordained by the bishop, archbishop. It's just bullshit.
It's to confuse people, and not to get to the actual source of the truth. You know?
And so the Pope was the ones that ordained kings during Europe time. He is the ones that gave the kings, and the kings said, "Oh, this by God's law, I can rule over my people because I have been blessed, by the Pope because they fell under the Pope. That's why blessed, right? So
okay.
So that's where all that comes from, you know. And so when Joaquin came over and he was just giving to the poor, and so, you know, it's all together, it's all one, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it, if you understand what I'm trying to say. If you get where I'm trying to get at. Whereas, you know, this whole place, we're conditioned to think a certain way because they need to divide us, they need to keep us separated, right? Because if they don't keep us, if we're together, we're a strong force. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And the smaller units that we can have, the division, right? And then we're a lot easier to control.
Yeah.
That's what the pandemic was.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of shit. I mean, even just when you start going back in history, like everything that they're doing, I mean, the pandemic, I think it's been like the worst because it's in your face, and then and I think they're trying to figure out who's gonna rise from this. And they saw that not a lot of people rise. They did, but they infiltrated, right? And they start throwing out. So it's kind of like, so I want to touch a little bit on since you're saying about, you know, conquering and dividing and all that. Going back to the Mexica and the organizations, there's this organization, I'm sure you heard of it by the name of the Mexica movement.
Yeah.
Right? And I've heard like different things about that organization, as it's not a good organization, it's a bad organization, it's people infiltrating the whole movement. And I think they're saying that because it's such a big movement, right? It's something that's recognized.
Well, it's like any movement that has force to unify people, right? That's what happened with the Black Panthers. You know, that's what happened with Malcolm X. You know, he was actually killed by an FBI agent. You know,
Malcolm X?
Yeah. The person that killed him was an FBI agent. Infiltrated his group. The Chicano movement infiltrated by CIA. Just to disrupt that, you know, because I was just, you know, reading something, you know, back in the 70s they had, you know, once again they had a national Chicano caucus to create a political leader to run for office, right? And they had to dismantle all that. So because when I found out about it, it was a lot of good things about it that I was learning. But then I think the last 10 years, there's been a lot of that smoke and mirror type of thing, right? Like they've been adding that smoke to it. But again, it's just it's one of those things that it's also you know, when you're embarking, it's for, you know, for the listeners out there. I know there's a lot of individuals out there that say, I don't know where I come from, I don't know nothing, you know, about my background and all that. You can find out, you know, there's a lot of resources out there, but at the same time, just be mindful, right? That the stuff that you're eating is the same thing like a diet. It's gonna make you think a certain way. And I say this because when I first was really getting it heavily involved, I had to take a break from learning because I started feeling a certain way because it was not, that's the only thing about doing it yourself, is you're not being taught with wisdom when you're learning this stuff, right? So then your mind just races and you want to consume everything.
And but then
and you don't know how to decipher, okay, where you know, you have no lack of, you don't have the roadmap, right? But that's life, though.
That's true.
That's life. Life doesn't come with a roadmap, and you take your paths, right? So I mean, like I was saying, I was involved with the group, you know, heavily, and you know, and then all of a sudden, you know, I did my research and I found out, oh man, I'm Yaqui. So what I'm saying is, there's nothing wrong with the Mexicas, right? Because they're inclusive, right? That it's like for all that's detribalized. If you don't know your tribe, hey, welcome. At least start somewhere, right? And then as you do your research, then you realize, oh, okay, well, you know what? It served its purpose. You know, it served its purpose to get you to the next level. You know? So that's the journey I'm on right now, is I'm trying to learn, you know, the Yaume language, trying to learn the traditions. You know, I want to go to Sonora and see the actual motherland, see the people there, and reconnect with, you know, but that's only part of it. Because like I said, I got my father, he's from El Salvador, and so, you know, the pipil, you know, it's a whole different onda, right? Different connection, but they still, So they're still connected because remember the Mexica was a vast, they call it an empire, but it was a vast network, right?
Yeah.
And they came and they went all the way down, to Nicaragua. That's why it's called Nicaragua.
Yeah.
Nica, Nahuatl.
Yeah.
Here is Nahuatl, right?
That's how you pronounce. No, that's not how you pronounce it, though, right?
Nica Nahuatl.
Nica Nahuatl, not Nicaragua. Nica
No,
Nahuatl.
yeah, it's Nica Nahuatl, which means, Nahuatl is here.
Oh, okay.
Nica is here, and then Nahuatl, Nica Nahuatl,
Oh,
right?
okay, Nica Nahuatl.
And then then El Salvador was Cuscatlan, the place of the big stones.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and so, where my father's from, this is where everything's crazy. Where my father's from, he's from a little pueblo called Nejapa. Well, the original name is Neshapa, and Neshapa Nawa means the place of old fire.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that. Yeah.
So they have every year they have a celebration, August 31st, of Bolas de Fuego, a celebration, right? But that name alone, is Neshapa, right?
Yeah.
Means the place of old fire. And then when I did my name and I got my name, Tlecuesalo, the great bonfire. So here's the connection. I'm like,
whoa,
I saw,
dope. Yeah.
And so it's like everything happens for a reason, and there's no such thing as coincidences. It's just we just tend to think it is, right? So even there's history, right? And then even from my father, there's like my grandfather, his father, right? Is Spaniard, 100% Spanish blood. He was born in 1893. My grandfather, my abuelito, 1893, before the 19th century. So in 1910, trip out on this, in 1910, my grandfather, he was 17 years old, right? He saw the railroad come to El Salvador. He saw electricity come to El Salvador.
Yeah.
When he went to La Union and he saw the ship, he saw a steamship come. And he's like, oh man, he saw the people, and he went running and he started asking, hey man, how can I get on your ship? And then the cook goes, hey, well, you need your permission from your parents. He's like, check it out. We're going to California. We'll be back in 3 months. And then, if you have your paperwork, we'll take you. So my grandfather, he went and did what he had to do. He was waiting every day, waiting till finally the ship came. And then he became a sailor in 1910, hopped on board, went all the way down Chile,
all the way around.
all the way around, Cuba, Mexico, New York, Greenland, England, 1910. The reason why is because in 1910 there was a ship called the Titanic being built. My grandfather saw that, bro.
Really?
He would tell stories to my dad of how he saw, a big ship being built that sank, and okay, whatever, right? And then when the Titanic movie came out, my dad was like, oh, wait,
I was told about this.
So there's a lot of history even in my family, right? So the story goes that my grandfather, he was straight playboy and straight, has children throughout the world, man. You know what I mean? He's just playboy, and then when he came back, in El Salvador after he came back, this is what's kind of crazy is my great grandmother, she was a bakery owner, so she had money. Then my great grandfather, he was a landowner, but they never married. So my grandfather took my great grandmother's last name, and so.
Okay.
So my great grandfather, he was actually a landowner, a descendant from one of the ones that came and helped the Civil War, and so they granted him a bunch of land. And so when my grandfather came back, his uncle's like, hey, you got to go see, your dad died. We need you to go take care of for your land. And my grandfather says, oh, you take care of it for me. Oh, he took care of it for him. Straight stole it.
Yeah.
Straight took his land, right? So then, his history, and then he became into the military. And this is, like I said, I don't want to go too deep, but in the 1930s, my grandfather was basically like Secret Service for one of the political candidates for El Salvador.
Okay.
And that's where he met my grandmother in a little town, right? And so in Najapa. And then so they got elected. 1930s, El Salvador had a compact, had an agreement with a country called Germany. Who was in power in Germany in the 1930s? Hitler. El Salvador got all their armaments, their uniforms from Germany.
Really?
1930s, 1932. And so my father was growing up with German toys. He grew up with German toys.
Good, bro.
And then in the 1958, right?
Yeah.
My grandfather had a radio. He was listening to Che Guevara's broadcast from Cuba off that radio.
Damn, bro.
I'm telling you, so much.
That's so, yeah.
It's just, then my like I said, my grandfather was born 1893, bro.
So you got, yeah.
I never met him. He passed once I was born.
But the actual experiences, really, like you could, and that's so valuable, bro. Like you can't put a price on that when you have actual, like, not just from any, like, family that's
it's direct.
It's direct. And then we're talking, but see, even all that, going back to what happened just in this land itself, it's a long time ago. No, it's only like relevant. 4 generations away, if that, right? Like,
well, that's what it says. If you don't know where you come from, you don't know where you're going.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so that's part of the erasing. You have to erase their history. Because if you erase their history, then you can dictate where they're going, and that's the trajectory path that we're on now, and that's what's happening now with all this, deportations, and everyone's like, okay, immigrant. No, man, we're migrants. We have always been here, and then you got talks like, oh well, if you're so Mexican, then come over here, give up you're missing the point, my brother. Is that this land was ours? It was taken from us. We have. The border, we didn't cross no borders. The borders crossed us. You know what I mean? And so we're here. We got to fight. And what's needed, right? And so what's really, really needed, and to me, my I guess you can say my solution is economics, right? If we band together and we keep the money flowing within our circle, then we become powerful, because that's power is money, right? We need to cut all the BS, stop buying from major corporations, buy from mom and pop stores, even if they're not your same color of skin, you're still, they're still.
It's the action.
Right.
It's not so much of who deserves it or who, it's you being a good person. Right?
Well, it's just keeping the money within our circles, within our communities. Right.
You're only as strong as the people around you.
Correct.
That's like how we were talking in the car the other day too. It's like I try to put my friends on, because it's like if I'm doing good, I want them to do good. Because that's how your community grows, and that's how you're able to expand.
Right. Well, it's kind of like this wall they want to pull up, right? And our people tend to have the crab effect. It's like once someone's climbing up, they want to pull them down, because remember, in order for someone to pull you down, they got to be lower than you, right? And so everyone, we get this mind, talking shit about me. It's like, why are you worried, man? They're lower than you. They need to talk shit. They need to pull you down. Just
it's true, man.
Just I tell people, I'm like, don't listen to people. It's like they don't got nothing going on. They got no motion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just worry about yourself. I'm like, I got motion. I got things to worry about. I got priorities. If you don't, do your thing. But I got stuff to do.
Right. And so to me, that's the solution, is for us to come together economically, to pool our money together, buy from each other, make each other, just keep it going within us.
Look out for one another.
Because that's one of the big, in this society, you have to have the economical sense to be able to, because it's just how things are here. If it was a little different, of course, we're going to play different. But like you were saying early on, at this point, we can't say, we need to go back to how it was in the past, or we need to get this back. No, we need to learn how it's being, the game, how it's being played here, so then we could then turn around and...
So the goal is to be able to learn the game, play the game, to get out of the game. Right? I mean, that's the goal, right? It's like, because it's not you don't see the owners of the team playing. No, that's what you got, coaches, that's what you got, players. They're the ones making all the money. Well, it's just entertainment, baby. You know what I mean? Like it's a big game, right? The Super Bowl. Well, it's entertainment. Oh, that's my team. Oh, really? Shit. Last I heard, you pay them, sucker. You don't get a paycheck. You know what I mean? It's whatever. But I'm just saying,
it's not negative. It's actual, like, conversation. It's sense. That's really what it is. That's we're conversating, and it's not to downplay anyone. If people like that, it's all good and gravy. But personally, it's like and I think it's just because I'm an artist. I I don't want to spend my time watching something that
Right.
I'm not even gaining no type of knowledge from it, just watching it.
Well, that's what you got now. I get mad at my son. He's watching someone playing a video game. I was like, what the what? So he's watching YouTube, people playing video. I was like, son, man, get out, get out, grab your bike, go explore. So that's where I get my sense of exploration is from my grandfather, right? And so it's like, and my whole thing is this world is so vast, and large, right? A lot to do. But we get this tunnel vision from our screen, right? And we think this is it. No, man, we got to get out.
Blue light.
Blue light.
you heard of that?
Nah.
So they say the reason why people get addicted to it is because the blue light, that spectrum. And so when you look at TVs, they're like, why do you think when you turn it off, it turns blue? Yeah. Turn it on, it turns blue. The lights that they use in buildings, it's all
they change blue light. They change the spectrum, the color.
Yeah. It's to dumb you down, right? Because there's something about the blue light that doesn't allow you to perceive your information in reality. So yeah, everything is for a reason. That's why we have there's no
I mean, I'm not trying to there's tools are meant to be utilized. Yeah. There's nothing evil about it. It's how you use it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because a knife, I can use that to make carvings. I can use that to cook with, or I can shank someone. It's the intention. it's just you know what I mean. It's how you use the tool. Right?
No, any tool, right? Like even a fucking spoon. You can spoon someone the eyeball out if you know how to do it. If you're training it.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Everything's a tool. Yeah.
It's all intention, right? Yeah. It's like me. I don't see good and bad, right? I just see it is. Yeah. It's our perspective. Yeah. It's how you look at things, right? Yeah. As an artist, you see one thing and you're like, oh, hold on, let me get away from this, right? Yeah. Then you come back and it's a different perspective. Yeah. Then different mindset.
Yeah.
You know?
No, very true, bro. Very true, man.
And so that's where we need to be with our own people, man. It's like we're all going through struggles, man.
So let me tell you some, since we're at time here. What's any last words for the youth? I mean, just in general, but right now we have to concentrate on the youth because they're the ones hurting the most right now, and they need us. They need us OGs to come in. I don't even want to use that term, but you know what I'm saying, like us that have made it to this point, and we could provide something for them. Like what's your encouragement words or wisdom words?
What I'm going to say to the youth then is to become financially educated, because that's something they don't teach us, right? Learn how money works, right? If you know how to work money, money's going to work for you, and you're never going to be poor. You're never going to be without. And just on that, look into whole life insurance policies.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
That's not sure.
That's what I do, brother. I don't do 401k. I'm a building engineer. I made it. I'm a building engineer for a data center. I work in the fucking belly of the beast. I make sure the internet keeps on rolling. We got Amazon, we got Google, we got Rockstar, we got all these major. The internet isn't a cloud, it's a physical location. That's where I work at. I work for the largest data center company in the world.
Wow, bro. Well, guess where I work at?
Where do you work at?
University of California. Huh? And so again, it's funny that our paths will cross, because there too, I mean, it's they're holders of knowledge and information, right. And they're one of the most out of the world, man. They're pretty bad. Berkeley is.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they're especially with the whole indigenous artifacts that they still have, like remains. They don't want to give back. And throughout the whole California, all the universities have, because there was a court decision that was made and said the University of California has to give all the indigenous artifacts, remains, whatever they have, back to the people. And they, to the day, they've only given about 5%, and this happened 30 years ago. Right. So again, like it's one of those things that, like you're saying,
information is power.
We gotta learn it from the inside, because then when we're able to talk about it, we could be factual about it.
Right.
Instead of just kind of like, okay, right. I determined this because of. But when you're in the midst, and believe me, I see a lot of stuff that I'm like, It's fucked up. Like, you're doing surveys for people who are poor, but you ain't paying them, or you're not giving them nothing back in return. You're just doing it. And so because I'm a contract. I negotiate contracts, so I work with Amazon, Nike, and then when you get into these boardrooms or just meetings, right? You go in there and I have to negotiate with these people, and they're just kind of like. It's like, motherfucker, I can too. You know, I might look a certain way, but I can too. And then they're respecting you because, okay, you know, I'm not that I'm smart, but just not on the average point that everyone else is coming. You know, that's outside of that zone. But
so financial literacy is a plus. It's a must, and whole life insurance policies, because that's what the rich do.
It's a whole life.
Whole life.
Whole life.
Not an IUL, not a term life, a whole life.
Whole life.
Whole life insurance policies.
And that's where you
That's where I put my money at. So instead of a 401k, right? So for all those rich, read a book, The Richest Man in Babylon.
Richest Man in Babylon. Okay.
Read that book. It was written by a Sumerian, so it's written in stone.
Wow, okay.
Richest Man in Babylon by a man named Gilgamesh, right?
Okay.
And right there he lays out the plan. Rule number 1, pay yourself first.
Yeah.
Pay yourself first and then pay everybody else after.
Have to.
But see, they teach us the other way.
Yeah.
Pay everybody and then whatever's left is yours. No. Pay yourself first and then you pay everyone. And if you don't have enough to pay, then you hustle, you find a way to pay it. So financial literacy, that is key. That's why I talk our way out is economics, through finances.
Economics, yeah, man.
Whole life insurance policy, you start young. So by the time you're of age, retirement, you'll be
set.
Because whole life insurance policies, even during the Great Depression, always paid out. Always paid out. So right now I have just FYI, I have a policy guaranteed 3.5% interest.
For what you have in there.
For what I got.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
Guarantee,
yeah. Not like this other shit that people like.
Yeah, it goes, so 401k goes up and down with the stock. This is...
Yeah, guarantee. No, this is set in stone.
What?
So to speak.
Banks put their monies in whole life insurance policies. Companies put their whole life insurance policies. Just quick, I know.
No, you're good. Right? No, you're good.
So check this out.
About information.
So when a VP CEO is hired by a corporation, that company pulls out a life insurance policy on the individual. That's where the service packages come. Say, oh, well, if you work for us for X amount of money, X amount of years, after you retire, we're going to pay you $1.5 million a year for the rest of your life. Oh, shit, sign me up. Why? Because once they get hired, they pull out a policy on them, a life insurance policy on them, where they can put money tax-free.
So that's what that is.
Every year, they put the money, right? So if you have a VP that's there for 10 years, so for 10 years, you've been putting millions of dollars that's been growing at. Obviously, corporations get a better rate than 3.5%.
But
right? So that by the time that they leave and retire, you're paying them just on the interest. Just on the interest.
And
and then when that person, now remember, the corporation is going to outlive the person. So when that person dies, they're going to get all that money they gave them plus some back. See, because I like right now I got a $1.5 million life insurance policy on me. So if something were to happen to me, my children would be taken care of, my family would be taken care of. But I put already money away in my policy that I get to borrow against. I don't take out, I borrow against it. Obviously, I get hit with the loan, I got to pay interest. But simple interest, not compounding interest. Which Einstein said is the 8th wonder of the world is compounding interest.
Really?
Because it just keeps on.
Right? Compound, right? It's
exponential, right? So I use the money, and as long as I keep dumping more money, so the interest is going to be higher than the interest gained from money's not loaned out in my bank is going to be greater than the interest I need to pay for the money I got loaned out. So I never really got to pay it back. But being a good banker, you need to pay yourself back.
Yeah.
So
I have something similar too. Like I don't have a 401k, but I have I can't remember what it's called, but it's that same thing. You pay into it, you can borrow from it, but you pay yourself back, and no interest on it. But it's not. I don't think it's the same as this is more internally. But again, there's different ways. But that's why they push 401k so much, right? And
401k is actually a tax code for the corporations.
Yeah, that's right, man.
401k is actually a tax code saying, oh, hey, since because they don't offer pensions no more, they don't offer retirement plans like they used to, right? So they said, okay, well, we'll give you guys a break. If you put in so much money, we'll give you the break, and it's under 401k. This is the tax. This is the code that it's under 401k. So I'm telling you, man.
We're being doing. I can't even talk right because I'm like.
Yeah. So
we're being done dirty, man. That's
every angle,
what it is. Every angle, man.
So that's why it's important to be financially literate.
No, it's wise words, man.
And that's my to the youth, even to anybody that obviously there's health criteria, right?
Yeah.
But let's just say, for instance, you're of age and you're not in the greatest health. Well, you can open up an insurance policy on your child, and then that's where you can dump your money and become your bank. See, I got one on my son, and then he's already 19, and he has his own policy. So because my whole thing, I told my son is like, hey, I want you to, once you graduate college, because he's right now at St. Louis University going for mechanical engineering, and I told him, okay, once out of all schools, he's going to a Jesuit school. But they're paying for him to go. I said, that's where you go. I said, you know what I mean? So when he graduated, I told him, okay, when you graduate, what I want you to do is take a year off of school and travel. I want you to travel the world. I want you to go to a place, pick a destination, and then you figure out for 2-3 months how you're going to live. You're not going as a tourist. You're going to say, how can I survive here? Yeah. But the money's there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In case, right?
Yeah.
But the whole point is for him to get out and try and learn how to live there, and then 3 months later go to somewhere else and do it again. And then again.
The greatest gift you can give.
And so, but how is that going to be paid? Through the life insurance. And just borrow.
I'm gonna have to look into that, man.
We talk more, brother. We
will definitely, man. I gotta have you back, bro. Like this is just. I didn't even play music in between.
Sorry,
it's like no, bro. Like this is the stuff that we need, and actually, the person running this, Memo. This is what he prefers because everyone else plays music. Everybody's constantly playing music, and he wants people to actually talk because it gives the actual station or the radio, Psyched Radio, diversity. Right. And I've always I like music and all, but even as a kid, playing as a radio show and this and that, it was always conversating. These conversations because they're priceless. It's like just getting together with a person and then having that interaction is that you don't know what's going to happen. The stuff that you're going to learn, the stuff that comes out of it, or it could touch someone else in a way where they're like thinking in a different way. Oh, I didn't think about that, or maybe I should do this. So the platform is here, and I definitely want to invite you back in.
So we just got to use the system against itself. Because like I was trying to get at, I don't see color no more. It's no longer about a white man, brown man. It's the system, because every ethnicity is in the system, and the reason why the system works is because it has individuals, which the pandemic showed, as you said. It shows who's going to rise up for the system and fight for the system. It's not color no more, man.
No.
I'm just saying it's not.
No, it's true.
It's the system.
Yeah, it's the system. Yeah, it has no. That's just some. In fact, I don't think it never did. It's just a tactic because they had to do that.
Well, the reason why black and white, even during before the Civil War, you had white and black together.
Yeah.
What was unifying them was economics, because they were poor, and they saw the strength, so they needed to divide them into black and white.
And that's what. That's it's research, right? Doing your research.
But we're at the end.
No, it's good. I don't even want to end this, but I know we got things to do. Pepe, any last words for you, man? Just,
no,
just chilling. I know, man. You've been listening, sucking it all in.
Yeah, I've been listening, just observing.
That's great, bro. That's great, man. Pero,
but I appreciate this opportunity.
Sure, bro. And we're gonna have many more, man.
Let me just do a quick plug, for everyone.
Sure.
The low riding scene.
Sure.
March 9th in Salinas, we're having a car show.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
March
So
9th.
March 9th.
All right, March 9th.
We got Jason Joshua performing.
What?
Whoa.
What? Wait a minute. I gotta come through. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, Salinas. Now I'm like, nah.
Yeah, we got Jason Joshua. We got Big Tone.
Big Tone too. Gonna be there. All right, cool.
So
all right.
For all the low rider heads out there,
Yeah, so
what I mean?
you go.
Come through March 9th in Salinas at the Salinas Sports Complex.
Okay, and this is a Streetlow.
This is a Streetlow car show.
All right, man.
Yep.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna have to make it out there. I don't live here in the city. I live out there in Antioch.
Oh, okay, up north.
So up north. So I can shoot. But either way, man.
Jason Joshua, man.
Jason Joshua, man. He's
with his new hit that just came out too.
I don't think I've listened to it.
Oh, you haven't heard it? I forgot the name, but
maybe I have. I think today I was playing some of his music today. But all his music is good, man.
He's good people, man.
Yeah, good. And I'm glad that style's coming back, and they're like, and it's most La Raza that's doing not to like.
Well, he's Puerto Rican, but even he himself. No, he's even he himself. Like when he performed for our last show in San Jose in Soho.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn,
and everybody wanted him, to play his, that one song. He's like,
yeah, La Vida.
He's like, and he straight said, he's like, if I play that song, the show's over. So hold the fuck up. But anyway,
good, man. I gotta make it, man.
Shout out to Jason Joshua. He's coming through. So it's gonna be a Firma show, man. So if anyone can make it out there, if you got, come on.
We'll promote it, man. I'll promote it too. Any other plugs?
Just that, and then the Mexica New Year down in Soho, and the weekend after, March 16th, 15th, 16th, 17th.
Okay, so
down there.
Cool.
13, 14, yeah, that weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, down in Soho at Everpruce Park.
There you go, people.
So
right on, man. Again, thank you. Appreciate you coming through, carving some time out, especially on a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's a little tough for individuals.
I got a crazy schedule. I don't work till tomorrow night.
Oh, okay. So you're okay. So that's why you're like, I'm good. It's just chilling, man.
I work graveyard sometimes.
Okay.
So,
okay.
I'm a night owl.
Okay, yeah, night out, man. I'm also a night out. So
Can I play that song?
Night out. I had it on there too, man. All right, gente. With that, thank you for tuning in, lending that ear. Gracias a la raza and everyone else who's listening. Really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed this conversation that I had here with my friend
Telco.
I'm gonna get it down, pero but with that, buenas noches, and I'll see you next Sunday. This is Firmelab Radio on Psyched Radio SF. Órale.